Oh, some of my cats, and passed. Some of those that have passed. Well, let me see if I can find Zelda. Whoops, that would be in this group. Here's Zelda. Those newfangled Japanese toilets will cook your dinner too. Oh my goodness. Zelda. A viewer friend from Australia gave her her name. This wonderful girl came to us when she was a yearling. Stop it. Poor girl was bone thin. She was actually retrieved from between two walls. One was a cement wall and the other was a brick store. She was stuck there with her back legs moving and moving, trying to get out. This movement created big sores on both of her bony hips, but they healed quickly. Her front shoulders were so very sore. She still to this day has trouble with her front legs, which causes her to limp. The vet said it is from the damage from being stuck. Well, over time, Zelda started following me around, and I started seeking her out. I knew I loved her, and I knew she loved me. I thought it would be wonderful to make her a resident, just so I could keep her forever. But my policy is, if they are adoptable, we need to let them be adopted, so they will have their very own special home. Zelda, I'm talking about you. And I meant to stick to that. Then one day, a lady came who had seen Zelda on the cam and was interested in adopting her. That put me in a panic, in a position of sheer panic. I showed her Zelda, pointed out her limpiness that would be a forever problem, trying to discourage her. Then I started showing her lots of other kitties in hopes that she would rather have one of them. While she was looking at them, the other kitties, I slipped Zelda into the dog's room so she would maybe forget about Zelda. I know that was awful of me, but I couldn't help it. I had to run into the house to get something, and when I came out, I went to the lady to see if she had decided which cat she wanted yet. There on her lap was Zelda. Oh my gosh, I thought my heart was going to flip out. Someone here had seen her in the dog's room and knew she wasn't normally there, and so left her out. I admit, that's when I turned into a bawling baby, saying I couldn't let Zelda go. It took something like that for me to realize that Zelda did indeed have to stay. I was honest with the lady and told her I even tried to hide her. She so graciously told me that Zelda was indeed mine and that I should adopt her. So Zelda is now Zelda Bella Moss Girl. Zelda is also known as our box girl, almost always when it's box time. Here comes Zelda to preside over the nightly fun. Frequently, she can be seen hanging over the edge of a box, just watching the cam. Yeah, I remember that. I was trying to be so brave and tough, and but I hid her. Okay. Now, I thought there was one more somebody said. You guys knew it long before I did, didn't you? Yeah. All right. Is there another one? Oh, the patties. Let me see if I can find theirs. Let's see now. Gee whiz, I'm sure we did them. There's a lot of stories in here, and oh, here we go. We got the patties. Magic's not going anywhere. I think you guys all know that. Patty Cake and Patty Purr. They are twins, so their story must be told together. We truly can't tell their story without including their mama, who we called Rosabella. Rosabella was a beautiful Persian mama. Unfortunately, she arrived here in what is called lazy labor. Her contractions were not sufficient enough to finish delivering the two remaining kitties. She had already delivered the two boys, Patty Cake and Patty Purr. They were just hours old when they came. An emergency call went out to our vet and vet tech. Within an hour of Rosabella's arrival, we had our Earth Angel vet clinic all ready for a C-section. Sadly, two more babies were delivered but did not survive. We often wondered if we had only gotten Rosabella earlier in the day, could we have saved those precious two? But that we would never know. Rosabella loved her little boys. I don't remember. I know she did. Rosabella, I'm sorry, let me get back here. Rosabella loved her little boys, and then things took another kink in the road. Her milk completely dried up, so around-the-clock feeding was done for the brothers. But they still had their mama who would keep them warm, bathe them, and love on them. The boys, when they were several weeks old, became very sick. Oh, do you remember that? They were so sick. There were more than a couple times that it was feared they would not survive. Through the dedication and love of the volunteers, they did survive. It was touch and go for several weeks. Such a worry. It was not until they were close to 4 months old that we felt they were finally out of the woods. And then Rosabella was adopted. We were so happy. She so deserved this wonderful, incredible home. You see, Rosabella was part of a breeding group of Persians, some of which were national champions. Their lives revolved around the show ring and living in pens. So this world that Rosabella went to is heaven to her. She's a beautiful adult cat now. And here's how the Patties came to be permanent residents. We actually had a home lined up for them, but it was with a heavy heart at the thought to give them away. This is because we had been through so much together with them. A wonderful friend from Bermuda called one day and said she would like to adopt them and then donate these boys back to the rescue center so we could all enjoy them for their whole lives. So they are home here where they're dearly loved. I remember the day that this happened. I was in the house and our friend called from Bermuda and she said that she wanted to adopt them, and I think the first thing I said was, well, how am I supposed to get them to Bermuda? And that's when she said, no, to leave them there at the rescue center. Didn't take me long to say, yep, that's right, Jack. Didn't take me long to say okay on that. Okay. Got another one. I'll try to find those that you pick out. We can do a few. We have Porchies, Covies, some that were here and not adopted yet. Rally. Oh, and Asha. Let me see which one I find first. Rally. What a boy. Rally. He's also known as Kaz or Kazi, a special boy with several names. He came to us from a rescue in Columbus. Steve and I were visiting the area, attending an educational conference for the rescue center. We decided to visit a few rescues in the area. I sat on the floor and started petting cats, and there, staring at me from a cushion on the floor, was Kazi. He had that worried look in his eye, like he was afraid I would touch him. After much talking to him, I was able to pick him up, and I put him in my lap. He stayed there for such a long time. When he finally got up, he bopped into a few things. Kaz was a cat with moderate CH. We were already going to take Sally with us from the same organization, why not another one? These would be the second and third cats with CH that FFRC would have. While Kazi may not go up to people to be petted, he really is a sweetie, and he loves his snackers. He will indeed come for snackers. Once you start the petting on him, he truly does relax and accepts it. We love him, and he will always have a home here. It's so nice to see a cat that has arrived so worried, and now he's relaxed and he's enjoying life. He is also a big fan of comfy cushies. And he passed away February 23. No, wait, I'm sorry. I don't have his date of birth here. But he did pass away here. It's been a long day, Wolfpatch. Yep. Okay, and Asha. I would love to do Asha, Bobasha. Let me put a little tag on Kazi so I know we did him. Oh, there's Ada James. Here's Asha. Yeah, Kazi was really awesome. You're welcome. And Pania. Well, let me see what we can do here. Asha. She was born March 1st, 2010. She arrived here March 7th, 2011. Asha came to the rescue center with a bum front leg. It had been badly broken, and with no vet care, it healed in a very odd position. It looked like a W. I will never forget when I saw that. A friend of FFRC, CJ Cry, called the rescue center and asked if we could help this girl. Asha was at a shelter about 45 minutes away. There, she was going to be placed on a farmyard, as she was deemed a feral cat. We decided we would like to help her, so Paul went and picked her up. I know he talked to her the entire way home, and CJ was so very happy. She named her Asha. Asha's leg made her miserable. It must have been very painful. I remember when I took her out, that's when we had Earth Angels at our vet clinic here, and I took her out and I said, you know, Dr. Cindy, she's just kind of grumpy a little bit, and she cries so much when I try to touch that leg, and so we got a really good feel of it, and it was just like a miniature W there. It had to hurt so bad. We made the decision to remove the leg. Since that day forward, she's been a happy girl. She feels good. She loves a head rub. She loves to eat and be talked to. She is famous for the headbutts she gives. She's the best at it. As she has gotten a bit older, her fur went from a light cream to a very dark chocolate. Remember that? What a beauty. She's also known as Asha. Another reason she is extra special is that the two people involved in her rescue, Pete, Paul, and CJ, have both passed away. She is our tie to them. Yeah. And now I call her a lot Asha, Bobasha. Yep, Asha, Bobasha. Coralie, I did see her. Here, she's right next door to that one. Coralie's birthday is June 12th, 2012, and she arrived here January 8th, 2014. Coralie, no pet should ever have to go through what Coralie has been through. Our winter last year was very cold and snowy. Coralie found her way to a lady's back porch, and that's all the further she could go. This lady found her lying on her side, stiff and covered in an icy snow. It was thought that she was dead. Then a breath was taken, and this lady whisked her in the house and dried her with warmed up towels from her dryer. The next day, Coralie was brought to FFRC. Many parts of her was frostbit. Her ears, her tail, her toes on all 4 feet, her rear ankles, remember how bad they were? Her chin, remember, because, you know, when she crunched down, her ankle was right there on the cold. and her chin. It was so sad, but Coralie purred. That's you, girl. And so we began the trip
She's sleeping.
to get her better. First, her ear flaps had to be removed. Many of her toes, both back and front, had to be removed, and also her tail. These parts were not able to be saved. In a few more weeks, it was realized that her ankles were not going to heal. They were causing a great pain, and a fix was not possible. Remember, we worked and worked on her, and oh my goodness, every day, soaps and baths and cream, and
She was the first major kitty on my very first visit.
she was here.
Yeah.
We tried so hard, and I was so hopeful. So her first rear leg was removed. Shortly after that, her second rear leg was removed. So now we have a short-tailed, short-eared, and a cat with no rear legs. What were we to do? As always, we let the cat decide. Coralie decided she loved life, and she was going on living. We feel her ears are cute, her chin healed just fine, and she can go wherever and whenever she wants to, anywhere in the rescue center. She has survived, and she seems very happy. Just watching her play always brings a smile to us. Yeah, she was a pretty sad cookie, wasn't she? Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Did you get a wet? Oh, is
Oh yeah, my glasses are
oh,
covered.
aw. Oh, Albert. You know, I wonder if we might have an Albert story. I'm pretty sure we do.
You hungry?
We do. We have a story on Albert. Oh, I do know Magenta's in here too. Do you,
I saw Magenta when you were reading.
yeah, we'll wait. Robot Man remembers you were here then.
You went out?
Mhm.
Okay. Give me a second here. I gotta wait my glasses.
Oh, thank you, Bagel Bear.
There you go.
All right, this is Albert. Albert, dang near busted my heart in 1,000,000,000 pieces. For those of you that didn't know what he looked like. You know, our very first kitty that we rescued was a kitty that went to Diana, who owns the bed and breakfast here in Defiance. I gotta have a drink. Well, wait, no, I shouldn't say that. She was the very first person who adopted from us.
You went out with your friends?
I'd have to look at my books, Tracy, to actually remember who the very first one was. First off, we took, what, 11 or 12, and we said that was all. That was it a lot, and I had nightmares worrying about how we were going to adopt 12 kitties out. So they all seemed to come at the same time. Here's Albert. Albert, this little kitten was loved by so many. He came about the time that we first started the webcam up, so he may be new to some of you. He arrived not in very good condition. He had been found right by a burn pile. We're not sure how or what happened, but our vet said he had smoke inhalation. Some of his fur had been singed, and his eyes, they were so cloudy. It was thought that this was from the smoke damage. He was so tiny, and he was so cute, and he was so loved, and he loved being held. Albert was always a bit tired. He didn't play much. He always welcomed people just holding him, but he just couldn't keep up with the other kitties, so he napped a lot. His favorite and almost only spot he would nap was the flower bed right in front of the cam. He was almost always visible. He was dubbed Prince Albert, and we all loved him with a passion. It was just a feeling, but it was like we knew he wouldn't be here for very long. And as he got a tiny bit bigger, his health declined even more, but he always welcomed us. Because he was front and center on the cam and where we work at, he was always being loved on. One day it was enough. We all knew that his days were short. He passed being held and with some of the volunteers close by. This was a heartbreaker. Our burial garden, memorial garden that we have for the cats is named after him, Albert's Garden, and he will never be forgotten. You know, remember somebody out there made a crown for him, and I cut one out of a yellow cardboard that I then taped, and I'd put it on him sometimes because he was our little prince, and I still have that in my cupboard over there. Yeah, so that is Albert. I'll mark these, and as time goes by, I'll keep on reading these, and I'll know which ones I've read. Oh, Badu. See now, Badu would be in the adoptable. Adopted. Here she is. Oh, do you remember Badu?
I do.
There's Badu's picture. Oh my gosh. Oh, Dad, that's nice. How did you sort the Kobe's into Kobe's and the Porchies into Porchies? Well, it started out that the Kobe's were those that had been in here, and we realized that they were not going to be able to be adopted because they were not happy being in here. But when we first started dog boarding, my daughter Dawn and I used to board like 40 dogs a night. 44 was our max one time. That office up there is where we did the check-ins, and we had a couple cats up there, and Jonah and his brother, or his, oh my gosh, I can see him, he's yellow tiger. Can't quite get his name, but they both became peers, and so we made them the Coveys. That was the initial one. Jonah was our first Covey. So then the Porchies were mostly those that were just dropped off onto the property, and we just would catch them, trap them, however, get them neutered, spayed, whatever, vaccinated, everything, and then just left them back outside. It just kind of, I don't know, it became a separation. National Peanut Butter Day. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, Badu. Badu just, oh, I loved her. A cat that totally took our heart. Badu arrived after her original owner could no longer keep her. She was given to the parents who really didn't care to have her. So they put her in a stall in their barn. Granted, it was clean, but that's no place for a wonderful long-haired, and I mean long-haired cat. Badu was a calico that was simply gorgeous. Badu was her own cat and didn't really appreciate the fact that there were other cats around. She wanted the rescue center all to herself. Yes, sometimes she even bit humans. Yep. But when she wanted to be petted, she was all lovey-dovey. To save her from the stress of so many other cats around, I decided to take her inside the house. She was in my house for a while. All was well for a while. Then she, unfortunately, started to have a go at my Z's in the house. Because she could do serious harm to them, that was not going to work. With a heavy heart, very heavy heart, it was decided that Badu would be going to a new home. The lady that so wanted to have her fostered her. No other cats, a rocking chair, big windows with bird feeders. At first, I called daily, and I mean every day, about Badu, and all was well. Then I started calling weekly, and all was still good. Now, it was just a rare call. Other than the fact of missing this great cat, all is well for Badu. And that's what we want, the happiness of the cat. And she's no longer fostered. She is home to stay. What a great cat she was. Yeah, Paul really liked Badu
So I
too.
was just thinking, Paul just
Yep. Magenta story. You got it. See, now at that time, Magenta was a resident, wasn't she?
She's the first cat that made me cry.
Yeah. Boy, a lot of these cats have made me cry. Where is she? Oh, no, those are the... Here, she's in here. Ada Jane was a heartbreaker, too, for me. There's Pania. Here she is. Magenta.
I used to play a game when I visited to see if I could get out the door without her asking for a little bit more food.
Yeah, a little bit more. Remember how many times a day we would feed her? Oh, my gosh. Magenta. The sweet girl was purple when she first arrived in 2003. Her birthday was in 1997. Someone put something on her. We were not sure what, but it was very hard to wash off. We bathed her 3 times, and then the purple hue had started to wear off. She arrived pregnant and had 4 kittens. Their names were Rose, Lilac, Lavender, and Fuchsia. She was an awesome mama to these kittens. She kept them back in the kitty campus room. Eventually, all the kitties were adopted. Magenta, too, was adopted to an elderly lady. She was with this lady for a couple years when her owner passed away. She was returned to FFRC. Soon after her arrival back, another lady came to the rescue center. She was in a wheelchair and had oxygen. That didn't bother Magenta at all. I remember that lady was right in here, and Magenta just would not leave her alone, kept jumping on her and jumping on her in her wheelchair. Oh, she jumped right up into the lady's lap and settled down for a nap. Needless to say, Magenta went home with this lady. Eventually, she too passed away. The sun brought Magenta back. By this time, Magenta was starting to show a bit of age. She was so comfortable here. We decided that it wasn't fair to adopt her out again, so she became a permanent resident and earned the rank of being an oldster. She died last year at a respectable age of 16 years old. She was so very loved and left a bit of a hole in our hearts. She loved her countertops. It indeed was hers the last couple of years of her life. She loved being on it and being where everyone worked at. She must have been fed 20 small meals a day. Anytime she gave any of us that certain look, that meant, "Feed me, please," and we always did. She was another extra special girl. And we also decided to not adopt her out again because she'd already been to 2 people that passed away. And we was afraid if we adopted her again and that person passed away, that would be kind of spooky. So we did not. Derecho, did I? Oh, we would like to hear about Derecho. He's in this section. Derecho, Derecho, you are my boy. That's our boy. Yeah, she was a great cat. Derecho. Hi, sweetie. Hang on just a minute. Kathy was really my daughter all along.
Yeah. Just took us a while.
This took as well.
I was teaching downtown in Defiance at a school, and we went to lunch. We had a meeting. There was like 200 people. We went to this meeting, and we were walking downtown, and there's this place that was, it's like a Zeller's Scratch and Dent. It's like where they have like used like appliances and stuff. And there was this kitty out in front that people were kind of standing around gawking at, and she seemed to be burnt, like somebody had lit her on fire or something. And so I was like, well, I can't leave this cat, so I spent my lunch break sitting on the side of the street with this kitten, and white kitty. And so I went inside to this business, and they said, well, you know, we could call the police for you, because they usually will come and get them and take them to the animal shelter. And so I waited, and this cop pulls up, and he pulls a brown paper bag out of his trunk, and he goes, here, put it in here. I'll just take care of it. I said, absolutely not. I said, you can go on your way. I'll just stay here. That's fine. And then another man came out of the store that worked there, and he said, I know who you should call. He said, Jacci Moss is her name, and she'll come right now, and she'll get this kitty. And I was like, okay, who is that? And he said, she runs a rescue. And I was like, okay. So they called her, and here she pulls up in her truck with a cat carrier.
Not a sack.
Not a sack. Yeah, and she put the kitty in the carrier, and she said, this is where I live, and if you want to come and check on her, you can. And I said, okay. And so I thought all night long about this cat. And so the next day I brought my Unique out, who was 4 years old at the time, and we walked up to the fence, because someone said she was out on the farm ground. So I walked up to the fence, and I said, well, I called you about this kitty a couple days ago. And she goes, oh yeah, her name's Beatrice, and said that her wounds weren't, they were just surface burns, and she was all cleaned up, and she wasn't here very long. But I said, oh, and she said, well, you know, we take volunteers. And I was like, oh, and I just never left. So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And then I was born.
And then I was born.
A ways later.
Yeah.
And Steve and I inherited more family.
Yeah.
They're our family.
Yeah, I even lived here at one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're our family. So, you know, hey, find a cat on the side of the road. Find family. But, yeah. And that was a good story. When I got back to work, they're like, what'd you eat for lunch? I'm like, I didn't eat.
Saved a burned cat.
I saved a burned cat.
Yeah.
And she was so sweet.
Beatrice was adopted into a great home. Oh my gosh. She went to a really super good place. Here in Defiance. Yeah.
And she wasn't like terrified or anything. I think she was just glad that I didn't let her get put in the paper bag.
Oh,
I couldn't believe that.
no.
Do they do that often?
I hope not. I hope not.
Hope not now, because we've educated them that there's somewhere else
We
to take
keep
them.
trying. Yeah. Right, well, I'll read Derecho's story. He's a pretty special boy, isn't he? Says Derecho, the love of FFRC, the D-man, the cat that started it all. Derecho was our very first cat with CH. Now, I have to back up a little bit on that. He was the first cat in the series. Years and years and years before that, we did have 2 other CH kitties. Years before that. Oh, and then I should just keep reading. We had 2 other cats here at FFRC that were CH, but their lives were short. So Derecho taught us a lot. He showed us that through pure determination, a cat can get past his disabilities and become capable. Derecho was found in a woodpile. His mama and siblings were also there. As is the way of mama cats, they like to move the babies when they become 5 to 6 weeks old. Derecho couldn't keep up, so he was left behind. The people who had the property where the woodpile was felt sympathy for this little boy and brought him to us. He happened to come at a time that Defiance experienced a very heavy storm called a derecho, hence his name. Cerebellar hypoplasia doesn't get worse, but it also doesn't get better. But what does happen are these cats with CH, they learn. They learn how to lean. They learn how to spread their legs apart. They learn to try and try and try again. And they succeed because they are such a wonderful group of cats. Derecho continues to show what it means to be determined. Derecho inspires hope and friendship and a willingness to keep on trying. He is loved worldwide. His birthday is May 16, 2012, and he came here July 4th, 2012.
And here he is.
And there he is. There's our boy. Derecho, look at your youngster picture. That's your youngster picture.
He's a itty bitty.
He's always got the bestest eyes. Yeah.
How much did he
Oh,
weigh?
Gallant. He weigh now?
No. Then.
Oh, then? You mean when he first came in?
I could probably
well,
look it up, huh?
Yeah. It's in the white book, but it's in the back part of the white book. Yeah. Gallant? Let me see if I can find Gallant now. Let's see. Would he have been in the adoptables then? No, maybe adopted. Maybe he was already adopted. Miss Dollyana. Gallant. Here we go. Wow, does FFRC have a mascot cat? Not really, but Derecho sounds good to me. Yeah. Gallant. Talk about a boy that had us all wrapped around his heart. That would be Gallant. Gallant arrived when he was a youngster of 10 months old. He had been hanging out at an apartment complex where several people there would feed him. He was always in a certain routine. Visit this person at a certain time, go to another person, and so on. When one of the apartment people didn't see Gallant to feed him, they knew something was very wrong. He would never miss a meal. So they went looking for him, and sure enough, he was in the corner of a door entrance all huddled up. When they picked him up, they realized someone had burned him badly. They got a blanket, wrapped it around him, and brought him to FFRC. We've seen many burned cats, but this was one of the worst. The genitals, his back legs, both upper legs were severely burned. I'm going to go say that again. Well, the genitals, his lower back, and both upper rear legs were severely burned. A long haul of treatments began. For many weeks, he quietly tolerated twice-a-day scrubs of his burns. 4 to 5 times a day, we slathered on special ointment. His poor bottom area was burned so badly, it was very hard at first to tell if we had a she or a he. As each week went by, the wounds grew smaller and smaller, and his personality just shined. Gallant has the biggest heart, so much love for everyone. He was such a pleasure to have here. We all loved him big time. In February, 2 months after his arrival, things were going smoothly, but our vets advise now to change his treatment a bit by adding insulin into the ointment. This has been shown to have good results, so we continued his treatment. In May, though, we were becoming concerned. All was healed beautifully except for one area on his hip. We just could not get that to skin over. So in June, he went to surgery and had reconstruction of the remaining site done. The vets did a beautiful job. By this time, we had a home lined up for Gallant. Our special friends Billy, Pogo, and Sharon spoke up for Gallant and put their dibbies on him. I'm sorry, that's Bonnie. I do that all the time. It's Bonnie.
So, yeah.
We had to wait until his sutures were removed. Once that happened, Billy and Bonnie came from Virginia and officially became his family. We've seen pictures of him on the Facebook, and Gallant is truly a happy boy. This special boy will always hold a spot in our hearts. He was a great kitty. Watch your nose.
It's like all day bruises and all.
Oh,
Eat a little bit of this.
Yeah, he had that swagger for sure, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he was a great cat. Patience. Okay. Patience would have been. I'll read Patience and then one more. Patience was an old, or Patience would be deceased ones, one of it. She had already passed away, I believe. Oh, there's Minto, Twinkle. Oh, here's my girl. And boy, I had lots of pictures of Patience. Oh, she was a great girl.
I have a picture of you holding Jocelyn when she was a baby in that chair with Patience on your lap.
Oh, really? With the rocker chair that we had? Okay. Come on, you. Here we go. Patience. You all know how I feel about Zelda. Patience was the same way. On July 21, 2002, we had some young kids come for a visit at the rescue center. The girl told me that her parents took their old calico cat that was declawed to the shelter because she had fleas, and she would be put to sleep the next day if no one gave her a home. She was 10 years old at the time. I told her, the young girl, if she could have her family go get her and bring her here, we would take her. I didn't hear back, but the next morning on the doorstep was a crate with an older calico declawed cat, complete with the fleas. No note of explanation, but obviously it was the same same cat the girl spoke of. So we took her in, fed her, rid her of her fleas, and set her up in a nice pen. On the second day, she looked like she would like to come out, so we opened the door. And that was the last we saw her for 17 days. Yes, 17 days. She just disappeared. We all searched, high and low, even went outside. It was like she disappeared in the thin air. Volunteers came and looked, day after day after day. No calico cat. We hadn't even named her yet. Our rescue center was due for an overhaul. We wanted to change rooms around and rearrange. Now, the date to do this was still a ways away. But one day, we happened to have extra volunteers here and decided to start the rearranging then. And I am so, so grateful we did. In the kitty campus room was a big pen that we wanted in the main area. It couldn't quite fit against the wall because of how the room was. Bill, Angie, and a couple other friends started to move this pen out, which had a covered bottom to the floor. When Bill says, "Hey, who is this cat?" we all looked and cried. It was our missing calico cat. This truly broke my heart. To think she was there all along and didn't meow for us to help her. Remember, she was declawed and had to have slipped off the back of this pen on the floor and then just stayed under the pen. It had a skirting around it. She couldn't climb back up. Once under there, there was no way to squeeze out. Did she have food? Maybe a few crumbs? Water? I don't know how she could have. But she was found and desperately needed help. She was emaciated then and severely dehydrated. We stopped all things to start attending to her. IV fluids were given and tons of holding. I remember sitting on the stool with her right by the refrigerator. I remember sitting on the stool with her wrapped in a blanket. I promised her if she survived, she would never have to leave. We would give her a home forever. And she was given a name right then, Patience. She had patiently waited for us to find her. It was a tough battle, though. For 4 weeks, she was tube fed because she simply wouldn't eat by herself. A consultation with the vet wasn't encouraging. They thought she probably wouldn't make it, and it was truly what was beginning to feel like that. It was decided that we would give her a little more time. Then on a wonderful day, one of the volunteers hollered out, "Patience, just drink some water." I still remember that. What joy we felt. A few days later, she started to eat, and we were so happy. Patience came to be much needed here at FFRC. She had a special way with the kittens and would bathe any of them that came and laid with her. We kept her pen that she stayed in for years. She would be out during the day but loved to sleep in her own pen. It was always called Patience's pen.
It was right there. It was the
Yep,
long one.
it was right
It was
here.
with-
It was where pin 1, 2, 3, 4 is now. And actually the pin 3 is still referred. And at the top of this pin, I still have her name tag. There it says Patience's pen. Patience stayed with us for many years before she passed away at the age of 16. She was a beautiful girl and was very loved. She was a great cat. Yep, 17 days. That was a long 17 days not knowing where she was. Let's read one more, and then I really have to go in. I'm going to read Canby. Oh, I see Preakness here too. But let's read Canby. Here's a picture of Canby. I do have Dove, and we'll just keep doing these till we read them all. Not tonight. Canby. She was born May 17th. Oh, there you are. Look, you still look like your picture. That's a wee little bit older. She was born May 17th, 2013, and she arrived here June 9th, 2013. So she was just a baby. Canby. This is our sweet girl. She arrived as just a little tiny baby with a severe upper respiratory infection. And she's chronic. She was a found kitten. No one knows where she came from. No mama, no siblings with her. Her respiratory infection left her with a small scar on one of her eyes, but she can still see just fine. She also has a chronic nasal problem that unfortunately will be with her all of her life. But does Canby care? I don't believe so. She runs with the best of them, plays till exhausted, picks on some of them, and then plays some more. When she finds her new home, they will just need to be attentive to her respiratory needs. She's such a pretty brown tiger with her front white toes. Canby loves dogs, especially Janie and Cammy. She will jump into their room just to be with them. She and Janie snuggles on the same bed. She's so smart. As soon as she hears the click of the dog's room door, off she goes to follow them outside. She loves to go outside with them. And as you know, we did make Canby a permanent long time ago. Her respiratory problems is chronic. And I would worry about that one, because if I keep up with her every day I check on Canby. And if she's not on meds, I'm always ready to jump in with meds if we need it. And sometimes there's 3 different medicines, antibiotics that we use on her. And depending on how she is, it's this one, or maybe it's that one or that one. And we're just so in tune to her and her needs. And sometimes she has to have nasal drops. So she was Peggy's first foster. Yeah, that's right, Beth. Well, folks, I know you all would love to read and hear some more. I love these. Putter, Felice, Navidad, Dove. Yeah, we'll get to all of them. I'll keep reading them for y'all. I like this too. All right, well, I'm heading in. Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine, too, for what you did today. I'm glad you like them. Oh, gee whiz.
Behind here.
What happened?
He
Oh,
was right behind here.
boy, he's quick, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so darn cute.
Did he fall back when I opened the door?
No, it was
Oh.
me.
Okay, just now. Elsie, you know how she
Uh-huh.
always puts her
Takes
face
on
in.
camera.
She walked up to her, she stopped, she turned the other way.
She's
She
learning.
learned, didn't she, to leave you alone?
Well, we'll have more story time, okay? All right, thanks everybody. Nighty-night, and this person is signing off. Mary's here. Barb's done her shift. She's going to be heading out, and I will see you all later. Yeah, tuck you all in. I do have to go out and tuck my mama in. So nighty-night. Love you all.
Where are the box cutters?
Do you know,